If it's summertime where you live, I hope you're enjoying some extra time outside, and your dog might be enjoying it too. But what happens if your dog starts enjoying it a little too much? And by too much, I mean digging up the fresh green lawn. Now, if you work hard to keep your yard looking good, is doggy digging driving you to dread letting them outside? Well, I don't blame you for being annoyed, but from a dog trainer's perspective, that digging is normal dog behavior, and it's good for dogs to dig. So let's see if we can find a way to allow your puppy to dig, but keep your sanity and your yard intact. I believe there's a way, and you're gonna find it in today's video. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. All right, first off, why do dogs do this annoying thing? What could possibly be fun or the point to simply moving dirt around? Well, as a canine professional, I can tell you that it's a stress relief and it's an instinctual behavior. Now, your dog may be digging to find some cool dirt to lie in. He might be doing it as some kind of play or exploration, or it could be his doggy instinct telling him to hide things for safekeeping. Digging happens indoors too. If your dog is digging in his bed, maybe when it's nap time, this is called bedding down. And it's a natural way a dog gets ready for sleep. And it could also be a form of marking, but not in a bad way. There are scent glands on the bottom of your dog's feet, so this is one way he leaves his scent behind. And if you've ever seen this bedding down digging, oh my goodness, it's adorable. So the bottom line here is that digging is normal and natural. Here are a few benefits of digging. Digging is a novel experience for dogs. No two holes are the same. The smells and the potential treasures that a dog unearths are very rewarding for him. Novel experiences are so good for our dogs, which is why we are always suggesting new enrichment ideas for you and encouraging you to find new areas for decompression walks. Novel experiences keep dogs' brains sharp. It tires them out in a good way, and it helps build confidence. Digging is also good for core muscle development. Think of all the core muscles being used when the dog is digging. They're balancing on their back paws, they're using those lats to pull their paws back, and the back muscles are fully engaged too. There aren't a lot of other activities to provide this well-rounded workout, which is one reason why we want to allow for digging in the right spot. It also develops stronger paw pads, which provides a good grip on walks. Finally, digging is great for dogs because they love it. Dogs have a lot of adjusting to do to fit into our human world. So when there's something that they absolutely love, we try to find a way for them to do it, not to stop or suppress it from happening. Finding ways to let your dog do things he loves is going to result in better behavior. He'll rest better when it's nap time, and your relationship will be stronger. Okay, so now that I've convinced you to allow for some digging, how can we allow the dog to dig in a human-friendly way? Here are 5 good options for diggers. Number 1, create a dig pit. Now this is an area outside that allows your dog to dig to their heart's content. It's best to mark it off with some sort of brick or big rocks to make it clear to your dog that digging here is okay. And you can fill it with sand or dirt or both. If you need to help your dog get started, bury some toys or a chew bone just beneath the surface. If your dog starts to dig in some other part of the yard, just gently redirect him to his dig pit. Now, the more he gets to dig in the dig pit, the less likely he's gonna dig elsewhere. I know, it sounds counterintuitive, but it works. If any of you have young, energetic children and you enroll them in a sport, you know what I'm talking about. Redirecting that energy to something productive leads to happier, healthier kids. Now, another option for indoor digging is an iDig toy. It's got a lot of layers and pockets, and you can hide treats or toys in it. It really encourages the dog to dig, and it's high quality, so it holds up to a lot of uses. But my students who've bought it say it's worth it. Now, I've put a link to it in the description below. And another good option for the garage or maybe a patio would be a kiddie pool with sand or dirt in it. This can help contain the mess. Add new and novel things to the pool to keep your puppy's interest. Now, this could be things like ball pit balls and water bottles with the caps removed. And if you're gonna have a heat wave, you can turn it into a fun outdoor water activity. You'll see how I used kiddie pool to introduce water to pickles in this video. Kiddie pools for pups get a lot of uses, so they're worth the money in my opinion. Some dogs can get out their digging instinct in blankets or old towels. Now, this might not work as well if you have an oral dog, like a lab. But if your dog won't eat or rip the fabric, give it a try. Heavy fabrics like denim or towels work well for this activity. Now, we have a fun game that we introduced to our pro level students called the puppy onion. Now, real onions are no good for dogs, but this activity is a good one. Essentially, you're going to be hiding some treats in the inner layer, maybe a paper bag or even a small blanket. Then tie up that inner layer into a towel and wrap it up into several other layers. Your dog has to rummage and snuffle and dig to get to the good stuff. The game's great because every time you do it, it's different. Remember what I said, novelty for your pup means a good nap later. Win-win. Now, another great option for digging is the beach or some lake type area. Now, you just want to make sure it's done in an area where your pup isn't destroying some kind of environment or wildlife. But if you can find the right spot, it's golden. The bottom line here is that if you give him the opportunities to do it in the right place, it will diminish his desire to do it where you don't want him to dig, like the middle of your yard where someone can twist an ankle. Supervision and contextual cues are key, but your dog is capable of learning where you want him to dig and where you don't. Did you dig all this advice? Are you digging my channel? We dig deep to bury you in awesome content each week. And if you like our stuff, throw us a bone by subscribing, sharing with a puppy parent friend, or giving us a super thanks. Now, I am not about to badmouth other trainers, but I do need to share with you a few techniques you may have heard that don't really work to prevent digging. Promise me you won't try these. Now, I've heard some trainers recommend putting dog poop in the hole where you don't want your dog to dig. Not only is this kind of gross, it doesn't teach your dog where you do want them to dig. Some pet companies make a dog digging deterrent, like an anti-chew spray. Also, not a good idea. For one, you're not teaching your dog what you want him to do instead. And this stuff can often be an interesting scent for some dogs to investigate further. In addition, you can't coat the world in these things. Your dog's just gonna find other places to dig, probably where you don't want. Oh, and cayenne pepper also has come up periodically, and that's a no from me. If your dog plows his whole face into the pepper, you're gonna be heading to the vet for an emergency eye or lung condition. It's simply not effective. That would be like putting cayenne pepper on your kids' crayons because you don't want them coloring on the walls. You still want them to color, but on paper instead. You don't want to use something that could cause pain to teach them what they shouldn't do. That's not effective in teaching them what you do want them to do instead. If you need a way to keep your dog away from a particular area, then you need to supervise your dog outside and/or block off the area with a gate or a puppy pen. One of my students, Joan, used movable gates to teach her dogs where they could go in the yard and where they couldn't. Joan's pups also have a dig pit in a kiddie pool. Lucky pups. I think these suggestions are going to give you plenty of places to redirect your diggy dog and make it an activity that both of you can enjoy. And if you start working on it and he's just not listening, there might be some part of the training that needs a little adjustment. Whenever students come to me and they say that their dog is stubborn or their dog isn't listening, I'm immediately on alert for what could be going on in the dog's world that is preventing them from being able to comply. Now, a lot of time, the training itself needs a little adjustment. Now, if this sounds like you're going to want to take a look at this video to see what adjustments you can make to produce a better listening dog. And if your dog is already a good listener, don't stop practicing. Once your pup reaches adolescence, you might find he's a little less compliant. Now, that video is going to help you get back on track if you need it. If you've got a digger and need some more advice, ask us questions in the comments. We'd be happy to help you. This is Michelle, your puppy professional and certified trainer, signing off.